Hello and welcome to Mobility Week. Today we are working on our superficial front line, which runs from the back of our head down around to the front of our neck and down the entire front side of our body to the tops of our toes. Go ahead and start in a seated position. One thing when we're working these front lines of our body that we want to be aware of and make sure of is that we're protecting our back at the same time that we work them. So although we'll be looking for length and mobility today, we will also be focused on engaging the core just enough to protect your lower back in all of these poses. So go ahead, just put a hand on your belly. Take a couple of deep breaths. Feel your hand push out on your inhale and in on your exhale. Belly expands as you inhale and contracts with that exhale. Now keep doing a couple of breaths like that and notice that on your contraction, take the bottom of your rib cage, those two rib points, and see if you can knit them together as you exhale. As you're doing that, send your attention to your lower back and just notice if your lower back can lengthen a little bit as you find that gentle knit together. This knitting of your rib cage is something that we'll be referring to through class in order to protect your lower back. And at any point during this superficial frontline work, if you feel your lower back getting a little bit twingy, either you might back off a little bit, but also just notice if you have that gentle core engagement that's protecting your lower back and making sure that you are using that, especially if you're feeling twingy. So we're going to go ahead and start in a Sphinx pose. Come all the way down to your belly. Tops of your feet down on the mat. Bring your elbows directly underneath your shoulders. Take your chest, think about drawing it up and through. Your rib cage is still down on the mat. And already right here, we have that gentle cinch together of your rib cage. Place your fingers wide down on your mat. And at first, just taking a few breaths here. Allowing your belly to be heavy down to the mat. Just finding a beginning of a gentle opening of your front line. And notice here that you're really looking just in front of your mat. We just mentioned that your superficial front line actually runs from the back of your head down around to the front of your neck. So if you are craning your neck and looking up towards the ceiling, you're actually working to shorten your front line by craning your head back. Instead, think about tucking your chin in towards your chest and lengthening the back of your neck as you come up here. A few more breaths. Feel your shoulder blades draw down and back towards your hips. Staying here just for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Send your elbows out to the side a little bit. Come on down. Take any small body wiggles that you'd like to do. And then start to prep yourself to come up for a second one. Bringing your elbows underneath your shoulders again. Belly once again down on the floor. Think about lifting up through your sternum, tucking your chin back, almost like you're creating a double chin. And slide your shoulder blades down behind you. Now this time in our Sphinx pose, take your hands down, push them down onto the mat. And just like you were trying to pull your hands and your mat back towards you, your hands won't move, but you're pushing your hands down into the mat and squeezing your mat down and back towards you. Notice now we've got all kinds of activation happening in the back. That'll happen as we lengthen the front line of the body. We naturally have to engage the back line of the body to make that happen. They keep each other in balance. So still pushing down, pulling back, really actively. A few more breaths. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and drop your elbows out to the side. Go ahead, windshield wiper your feet just a little bit. And this time, place your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Elbows are pressing down and back towards your hips, squeezed by your sides. And this time on your inhale, lift up for a little baby cobra pose. So just a little bit more of a lengthening than your Sphinx. Keep your chin tucked into your body. And this time, engage your glutes, engage through your feet in order to protect your spine here. Again, that back engagement helps to lengthen the front of your body. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and down your back like you're tucking them into your back pockets. Legs are fully engaged here. You might be a little bit lower than I am. That's fine. Your elbows are bent though. Don't fully straighten out. Let some length be still in your lower back. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower down. Take a breath down here. If you need to, you could shake out, roll your wrists a little bit. Now just remembering that your body is still warming up. We're not going up too high, just to your comfort level, making sure to engage the back. With your inhale, come back up for that cobra. Squeezing your glutes. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back down. Windshield wiper your feet. And come all the way up. Sit back onto your knees. And sitting your hips right down to your heels if possible. If you have a block, if it's not possible for you to get your hips down onto your heels, then that's okay. We all have different ranges of motion. Just bringing a block underneath you or leaning forward and lifting your hips as you need to as well. And here, place your hands down on the mat, right next to your knees, thumbs right next to your knees. And on your next exhale, draw your knees up into your chest. Think about lifting them straight up so that you're on the tops of your feet. You might really be feeling this in your ankles depending on the mobility in your ankles. So staying here just for a moment. And then on your next inhale, pressing down. Take a full round of breath here. Exhale. Once you get empty, lift your knees up. And put them down. Lift up with your exhale. Put them down with your inhale. Up for 3. And down. We're doing 5 more. And down. Really looking for that length through your ankles. And down. And down. We got 2 more. Use your exhale, squeeze your abs, your core, lift and lower. Last one. Lift and lower down. Sit up, shake out your hands. And step your right foot forward into a low lunge. And you'll notice as we go through this, we warmed up the whole front of your body, then focused on the ankles. Now we're extending it a little bit more, focusing on your front line from about the hip and the core all the way down through the top of the back foot. Notice that your back foot is flat down on the mat so that you're not breaking that fascial line by flexing your foot. Start to find a little bit of a glute engagement in your back leg here. And as you find that glute engagement, lift your rib cage up. Start to find some length through your lower back and your belly. See if you can keep that length, but drop your hands down towards the mat. On your next inhale, keep the top of your foot down on your mat, but lift your knee up, finding some length there. And lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. If you can, just your fingertips on the floor. More if you need more stability. Lift. And down. Lift. Down. Good. 3 more. Your own pace, your own breath. 2. And last one. And down. Now reach your arms up overhead. Find length through your torso again. And just notice with the arms up overhead, your chin making that little double chin again. We're finding length through the whole front fascial line on the left side, from your left leg all the way up through the torso. And you're going to really feel this wherever that fascial line is kind of the most stuck. For most of us, that'll be around the hip flexor, the iliopsoas muscle. Take another breath here. Bring your hands down with your exhale. Now, with this next breath, lift your back knee and send your arms forward. And then lower everything down. Good. Lift and down. Top of your foot is still down on the mat. 2 more. Lift and down. I know. You thought this was just stretching and it's more work. And down. Awesome. Lift your arms up again. And find more length through your torso. Bring your hands down to your lower back, right on your sacrum, that flat part right before your glute. Let engage your left glute, your back glute here. You might really starting to feel this. And start to lift your chest up towards the ceiling, keeping your chin tucked. Feel the length through the back of your neck, and then all the way down through your chest. If it's in your practice, you might reach down and grab an ankle. It's actually not in my practice today to go ahead and do that. Remember that if you are reaching back, your foot stays down on the mat. If you need to tuck your foot to reach, maybe that you're just not there today. Just remembering our goal of the whole front line today. And for another 3, 2, 1, gently come down. Step your foot back. Sitting up just for a moment. Place your hands on your lower back. You might feel a little bit uneven here because we've only done one side, but that's okay. Hands right on your lower back. Keep your torso really long. Squeezing through your glutes, begin to lower that whole torso on a diagonal down towards your heels, just until you feel the front of your body really resist. That's your front line. Let it catch you and come back up. We're in mobility today, but just working on this tiny little bit of elasticity so that you can feel that front line of your body, that resistance that you're feeling from your knees all the way up through your chest is that superficial front line fascial railroad that we've been talking about. So again, hands on your hips, leaning back, keeping your body as straight and long on the diagonal as possible, and coming up once you catch. Take 2 more of those. And back. back to center. Great, this time step your left foot forward. Finding your low lunge. Staying here just for a few moments. You might bring a hand up to your knee. And we're not dropping in here. We're not trying to get as long and as low as possible. We're not trying for that, super crazy yoga move. We're really trying to just focus on the engagement and the strength that we need in the back of our body and in our knitting of our rib cage together to lengthen this front line. And bring your fingertips down to the floor. Again, they're just there for a little bit of stability as you need it. And with your inhale, lift your back knee up and place it down. And down. Up. Down. Good. 5 more of these. Really focus on engaging through your glute and the back side of your leg as you lift up. The shortening of those muscles there is what's going to lengthen the front and pull your knee up towards the ceiling. 3 more. And last one, lift and lower. Good. Reach up towards the ceiling. Begin to feel the pick up of your rib cage, the knitting together in front, which lengthens the back. Not quite taking a back bend yet, but feeling where you notice this fascial line here. Really, we're working all the way. The iliopsoas muscle connects at the bottom of your rib cage, all the way down into your thigh, and then all the way down to the top of your foot is long. So really, just in this low lunge with a tall spine, we're working the front line from the bottom of your rib cage all the way down to the top of your foot. And you might be really feeling this sensation in any point along that chain. Just breathing and just being gentle with your body here. Knowing that if it's painful, you get out, you back off. Maybe that's why you're doing this mobility challenge, right? Because you aren't feeling very mobile, or you're feeling a lot of those tight spots through those chains in your body. So let them inform you here and do the poses to the best of your ability. So I'm bringing your fingertips down to the mat again. And this time adding the arms into the knee lifts, taking any adjustments to your feet that you need. Swing your arms forward, lift your knee, and sit down. 5 of those. Up and down. 3 more. Up and down. Notice where you're engaging to help find length. Up, down. Last one. Reach and lower. Go ahead, sit all the way back up. You can straighten your front leg for a moment. Take what kind of feels nice here. Lengthen your torso again, but this time finding a little bit more length by placing your hands back on your sacrum. You might kind of be thinking about pushing your sacrum forward. Just notice that as you push it forward, you are not dumping, you're not bending into your lumbar spine. There's a gentle press forward of your sacrum, but you're keeping your ribs knit together, keeping your spine long. Chin tucked, and chest lifts up towards the ceiling. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come out. Fingertips to the floor, step your knees together. Sitting into this knee sit just for a moment. Take your knees just a little bit wider and sit all the way back down on your heels. Setting ourselves up for a hero pose here today. So if just sitting on your heels is enough, stop here. And at any point during our progression today, you feel like, oh, that's enough, that's my stopping point, then stop and stay and breathe right there. So if this is fine for you, start to walk your hands back behind you, squeezing your shoulder blades together, and take your feet just wide enough that you're not sitting on your heels. We don't want to W sit here, so don't bring your feet out too far, still in line with your knees, just moving them out enough so that you can fit between them. And depending on your mobility today, taking this as far down as you're able to, ultimately perhaps laying all the way back, but it's not necessary. Now, for those of you who do always lay all the way back in hero pose, I want you to take this a little bit differently today. Instead of just letting your body relax down, I want you to take your glutes and squeeze them up towards the ceiling, really engaging through your back body, again, to lengthen the front. It's going to add a whole new spin on this pose. And no matter where you are, really, you could take that glute engagement, really explore it here, see how it feels, how it changes the pose. Part of learning to communicate with your body through fascia, through different engagements, is just being really curious. Not worried about where you are or what the outcome is going to be, just having some curiosity about what's engaging and what's able to relax. We're staying here for just a few more moments. Still really squeezing glutes up towards the ceiling. Breathing right into your belly. Taking one more breath. And then relaxing your glutes, starting to make your way all the way up to a seat. Lie all the way down on your belly again. Place your hands underneath your shoulders. And just spend a moment here. Notice what's different about this pose from the first time that we were in Cobra today. You might be really feeling the front of your body is longer down on your mat, that the back of your body is really engaged. So this time we're taking Cobra, but with your hands up off of the mat. So we'll be really activating the full back body here. That means you're pointing your toes, start to engage your glutes, and as you do that, as you engage the backs of your legs, start to feel your torso naturally lift up. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, lift your hands up off of the mat, and take this full Cobra. Now notice that your rib cage is still knit together underneath you for that little lower back protection. Take another breath, and lower down. So we're doing more of those. We'll just be going up on the inhale and down on the exhale. Lengthen through your legs, engage your glutes. Take a big inhale, lift fully up to your Cobra, your locust, and down on your exhale. 3 more. Up and down. Now, as you lift up here, I want you to think about length. Don't worry about how high you can get up towards the ceiling. Think about pushing length through your front line instead. And down. 2 more. And down. Last one. Your fullest amount of length. Shoulder blades squeeze. And down. Awesome. Windshield wiper your feet just a little bit. Leave your knees bent. Bring your arms either out to cactus arms, or you could reach them behind you. Really depends how you're feeling today. Press your toes up towards the ceiling. Taking a little skydiver pose here. So just like we did for Cobra, begin to engage through your legs, through your glutes. You could lengthen your knees a little bit here. Again, we do want to try to keep your front line nice and long. And on your inhale, pick up your chest, pick up your knees, and think about length. Take another breath, and come down. If you need to adjust, you can adjust. Sometimes we feel that's really uncomfortable on your pubic bone or on your rib cage. Again, be curious about where your body needs to be here. Take another breath down. And a breath up. And lift up. Lengthen. And lower. Good, taking one more of those. One breath down. Let it all out. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your back. Press through that front line. It doesn't matter how high you go, just look for length. Holding for 3, 2, and 1. Come down. Windshield wiper your feet back and forth. Place your hands down on the mat. Sit up just through tabletop here. Come onto your back. Sitting with your legs out in front of you. Take your hands, start to lean back onto your elbows here, and just tuck your fingertips right underneath your sit bones. We're taking fish here, but while you might be really used to supported fish, this is going to be a completely active fish. So before you start getting into this, point your toes and see if you can send your toes as close down to the ground as possible. And notice we're using the fascial line here because as your toes go down, your belly starts to kind of pull and pick up. You're pulling on your fascial line. As that happens, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Leave your chin tucked towards your chest, creating a really nice double or triple chin here. Squeezing the whole backside of your body to make this happen. Feel the length in your chest. And holding this, we're going to hold this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, squeeze up, 5, 4, 3, length through the back of your neck, 2, 1, relax down. Take a moment here just down on your mat. Send your arms out by your sides. Move your feet around. And the last thing we're going to do here is just take a gentle hug of your knees into your chest. Move this really slowly. And what we're doing is allowing the front of the body, that front line that we just found so much length in, to kind of contract a little bit back, lengthening the back line for a moment and just a little counter posture. You'll notice as we go through these videos that we counter posture the lines that we do at the end, just giving them even a little bit of elasticity work right there, right here, allowing what's lengthened to strengthen and contract. And send your feet down to the mat. And just taking a moment here, depending on the amount of time that you have today, you can pause the video here and just take a full Shavasana if you'd like to. Thank you for joining me in class today. Drink plenty of water, hydrate your fascia, and I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.